Hey guys, it's the Drabble Geek here, and welcome back to Ace Attorney, where we are on the last trial section of Farewell My Turnabout, and this is also the last section of this game, if I remember correctly, and is actually the next day after I recorded the previous portion, and it was only after I played that I realized that Francisca has a tracking device for Gumshoe. But considering the game kept going, I'm assuming that that's not necessary, and Edgeworth will figure that out somehow, and that he'll blame us being really super duper distressed on that information, and not choosing Francisco when we told him how. But let's see how this all turns out and wraps up. Because, like, the jury absolutely hates us. Well, I don't know if this is a jury system, or just like the audience. But, well, actually, yeah, there is no jury. The judge is the jury. But yeah, the audience absolutely hates us right now. I mean, I kind of hate us too. But everyone deserves a fair trial. Court will now reconvene. I assume both sides are ready? Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I can understand the defense acting like this. However, why do you also seem distraught, Mr. Edgeworth? It's nothing, Your Honor. What's wrong with Edgeworth? Looks like something unexpected just happened to him. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please tell the court the results of the handwriting analysis on Miss Impac's suicide note. Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we have discovered that this suicide note is a forgery. What? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This note was not written by Miss Impact herself. It is a fake. Order. Mr. Edgeworth, would you care to explain what is going on? If this was not written by Miss Impact, then who wrote it? We would need more time to do a more detailed analysis. However, it appears that the handwriting matches that of the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida. Mr. Corrida? Well. Looks like Miss Impact never left a suicide note after all. She never wrote anything about On Guard. However, Your Honor, even though the suicide note is indeed a fake, Mr. Ongar could not have known that, and so that facts remain unchanged. Okay, that's a typo. Acting under the assumption that it was real, he had plotted to possess it. That does sound very plausible. This theory that Ongar had no idea that the suicide note was fake. Something seems a little wrong with it. Do we have any evidence? Tales of Ongar's misdeeds. What is wrong with him? It wouldn't by any chance be, The defense believes that the theory the prosecution has stated contradicts the testimony. If everything the prosecution has proven up to this point is true, then it's impossible for Mr. Ongar to not have known it was a fake. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, your response? I believe that even more important than finding out if this note is real or not is whether the attorney's badge pinned to that man's chest is real. That is $1 million question. Yes, I agree. Me too. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that I messed up again. Actually, there's something I would like to ask. Mr. Edwards, you stated something earlier to the effect of the defendant had spied on Mr. Corda's private life. I believe this would mean that he would have known about the note as well. That's it. Excuse me. Yes, and so naturally, this means Mr. Ongard would have known the note was a fake. That's what I was supposed to do. I had no clue what's going on. Order, order. See here, Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor. I was the one who thought of the spying thing. Jumping in and stealing my thunder like that is simply... can't even describe it. Yes, sorry. I could have even bragged about embarrassing Mr. Edward to my grandchild had you not. For that, I assign you a penalty. What? So then, the defendant knew the suicide note was a fake, and if that's true, then the situation has suddenly has changed in a very dramatic way. There we go. Exactly, Your Honor. The prosecution's theory as to what Mr. Ongard's motive with murder was has suddenly disappeared into thin air. But, Your Honor, it's not as if Mr. Ongard monitored Mr. Corda 24 hours a day. Perhaps the victim wrote the note in a place Mr. Ongard didn't know of. Well, right back at you, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you show us some proof that the victim made the forgery at an unknown place? Order, order, order. Mr. Edgeworth? Looks like this time, it is you who has dug his own grave. As I figured. Huh? As you figured. As I figured, it came down to this after all. Mr. Edgeworth, you're not making any sense. When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next? What next? The prosecution can't prove Mr. Ongard's motive through the evidence, but we must prove it from another angle. Well, I agree with you there. Your Honor, prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand at this time. Oh? Well, that's fine. However, this witness is a little unusual. Edgeworth stuttering? This isn't like him at all. Unusual? Well, what sort of witness is this person, Mr. Edgeworth? This witness is one who is perfectly fit to answer once and for all the question of who was it that hired Shelley the killer to commit murder? That's impossible. Who in the... No such person exists who can answer that question with such certainty. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth, who is this witness? Yes, go on, who is it? The man himself. Mr. Shelley the killer. Oh, Mr. the killer. Wait, Shelley the killer? Oh, so we did catch him. You mean the killer, the assassin? Yes, Your Honor. He's coming here, to the witness stand? Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. I recognize that this is a very unusual circumstance, so I ask for your permission. Well, Mr. Wright? Yes? Is this alright with you? Do I have a choice here? Can't really do much else to drag this trial out. Defense has no objections, Your Honor. I wonder if it really is alright to do this. Very well, then the prosecution calls its witness to the stand. Okay, so what I'm going to do is pause real quick. I'm going to restart this portion so that I get, excuse me, all my lives, I guess you could say, back, and then I will meet you guys right here. And then I suppose this time I won't get the double penalty when I'm correct. Got the penalty for being incorrect, and then I got a penalty for Phoenix talking. But I will be right back. Okay, I am back. I chose the spy camera instead of something else. So because I got it right, I didn't get the penalty, and because I didn't back off, I didn't get the penalty for the judge saying it, but pretty much the exact same conversation happened. It was just whether I would have gotten a penalty or not. So Nothing interesting happened. Other than the witness, not the witness, other than the judge forgot what a camera was, that was peculiar. Now then, witness. Oops. Your name and your, occupation, please. Very good, sir. My name is Shelley the Killer, and I'm a professional assassin. I say, what is going on here? Your Honor, how can you remain so calm, and what is the meaning of this two-way radio? Actually, Your Honor, it was delivered to me just now, and it came with a condition. As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. the Killer will testify to this court. So this must be what urgent phone call he got earlier was about. Oh no, this will not do. We cannot allow this in my court. First of all, we can't even be sure this is really Mr. the Killer himself. Witness, please present some sort of proof that you are, in fact, Shelley the Killer. I understand. Please wait a second. I'm so hungry. Maya? A voice, Mr. Wright, can you confirm anything from this? The defense has no objections to this person. We are satisfied that this man is indeed Shelley the Killer. Looks like we have run into yet another unexpected turn of events. Are we not going to question why the girl that's often seen with Phoenix was on the other side? Are we? Okay, we're just moving past this, alright. But this is also interesting in that he said he wanted his client innocent. Unless he no longer cares now that he found the video of the murder taking place. I wonder. Well, it doesn't seem like we have too many choices under these circumstances, so... Now then, witness, there is one thing I would like to confirm before we speak of anything else. And what would that be? At the request of a client, you killed Mr. Juan Corda, is that correct? It is as you say. I did indeed kill Mr. Corda. Now that we have answered that, let's move on to the name of your client. Very well. This is all just a bad dream. Yes, that's it, a bad dream. Shelley the Killer, what is he going to say? Probably something super duper interesting. There is something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. And that is the reason I am here today on this witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. Okay. Mr. the Killer seems to be a very clever man. And almost say he seems to be mocking us. While he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honor, Mr. the Killer is only stating the truth. He is no hypocrite. He has always stood by this one belief. You mean about this trust between his clients and himself thing? It seems to be a level of trust beyond what people like me can comprehend. Well, Mr. Wright, are you ready to cross-examine the witness? Yes, Your Honor. There's no way to know what's coming next, so stay cool and collected, Phoenix. Yeah, it's just time to question him on everything, because I have absolutely no clue what's going on. Also, let's save it real quick. Something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than trust between a client and himself. The trust between you and your client? I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew my face, it would be quite troublesome. And that is why you're testifying in this manner? This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. So you just admitted it was on guard. I must reserve the Killer name so my clients can trust me. But couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust? It has never happened before, but if it ever did, yes? That person wouldn't be my client for very long. They would certainly. That's enough. Please, no more. Very well. It's only a hypothetical anyway. Except we do have a video. So I wish that you grasp this concept. We understand, so please tell us the name of your client. I'm afraid I cannot do that. I still have a few things to say before I do. The egomaniacal. It's not good for your health to be so aggravated. You won't live very long if you let everything bother you. Somehow, that coming from an assassin makes it less than comforting. Don't really care about all this extra fluff, just tell us the name already. Patience, try and calm down a little. It's important to try and understand his mindset. He seems very steadfast and closed, so you're going to have to work to get him to talk. I'm not his therapist, you know. Am I supposed to question on everything? Can you just tell us I don't think you understand? Sorry, go on. I already questioned this, and that's the reason why I stand here on this witness stand. That seems a little strange to me. I mean, you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think that would be very bad for them. It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules and acted outside their prescribed role. Their role. This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. Who did they try and implicate? Was the fact that we try to pin it on Adrian? I don't get it. And this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven. You... Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty? To the gentleman who spoke just now. Excuse me, but would you care to die? No, I didn't say anything. The judge had better watch himself. It is my wish... I'm kind of confused as to what... Is running from the time of the murder. Okay. Let's see. There is something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust. And this trust was broken. I wish. We understand. I'm afraid I cannot do that. Okay, I'm just like... I'm also going to save again now that I've like unlocked all the choices in case that creates something. And that reason I'm here today on the witness stand. Is it the fact that I need to be like, hey, he was spying on you? Is that what I'm doing? Okay, no. What is going on here? Can I like get him to add to this statement? The trust between you and your client. In exchange, these are rules. I'm sorry, but I was wondering about something you just said. Oh, I had to re-question him? Okay. You said that your client had already broken the rules. A person who frames another is the worst kind of human. And that's why you feel you can betray this person? I have no trust relation with a client who can't understand their assigned role. Just my luck, an assassin with a conscience. Who would have figured? Now then, everyone, do you think you can understand my logic? This case just keeps getting better and better. If you can't, then I'm afraid we can't proceed. Everyone understands your point, I think. Really. In that case, I believe I'm prepared to disclose the information you seek. You have made it crystal clear that you value trust over all else. I believe we are ready. Excellent. Now then, I do believe it's about time I revealed the name of my client. Don't you agree? What is it? Now I can't bring myself to ask the client's name. If you can't ask it, Mr. Wright, then I will. Witness? What is the name of your client who requested the murder of Mr. Juan Corda? That person's name is Adrian Andrews. What? Witness? That's not who you told me it was earlier. Pray tell, what are you talking about, Mr. Prosecutor? I should think I know my own client, and it is Adrian Andrews. But... what? But didn't there was a break. I mean, it's true that he wants his client innocent, but can't we say that since Matt has the video, well, supposedly has the video of the crime taking place, that trust was broken? It's interesting. This can't be on the phone earlier. What's going on here? My guess is that Mr. the Killer just stabbed Mr. Edgeworth in the back. Stabbed Edgeworth in the back. I'm sure in order to get an audience with this court, Mr. the Killer told him a different name. Matt Ongard, perhaps. I knew it. This is outrageous. I was deceived. This witness is telling a very serious lie. But you were the one who summoned this witness. You, Shelley the Killer. My testimony is the truth. The defendant at the moment is Matt Ongard. Am I correct? All I wish to do is help procure his acquittal. Wow. All of a sudden, it feels like we can actually win this. Yeah. This is quite interesting. The prosecution has failed to provide a motive and has instead provided this suicide note, which is a forgery created by the victim. Furthermore, there is a possibility the defendant himself knew it was a fake. But most definitive of all, we have heard from the assassin himself. Why is this game going so slow? The name of his client. Mr. the Killer's client who requested the murder was not the defendant at all. No. With all this evidence, it is obvious to me that this means that Mr. Matt Ongard is innocent. I seem to have caused you a bit of confusion. Please continue your discussion and call me when you have reached a verdict. Bailiff, please bring Miss Adrian Andrews in immediately. What now? With the way this is going, Ongard will be found innocent. This may be our last chance to save Maya. Yeah, but Edgeworth is right. The killer is lying. And Ongard, my client, I know he's guilty. Can I live with myself if I win this? Who would have believed the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant? Your Honor, the prosecution requests permission to further question the witness. Shelley the Killer is certainly lying under oath. It wasn't me. Listen, everyone, please. That testimony just now, it was all one big lie. Miss Andrews? The suicide note may have been a fake, but that man, Matt, he's the reason Celeste died. And Juan's death was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world. That testimony just now, You have to believe me. It was a horrible, horrible lie. But Mr. DeKiller himself has testified. He has named you as his client. No, that's not true. Also, there is quite a bit of evidence that points to you. The knife and the button, donning the nickel samurai costume. But that's, you even have a motive. We know that Miss Celeste's impact was a large part of your life. You wanted to follow her, and you wanted revenge against the two who hurt her. I would say you have plenty of reasons to want them both dead. I know. Mr. Wright, you know the truth. Tell them. Tell them the real story, who the real killer is. Tell them. Please, help me. Yes, I know the truth. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? I believe you have reached the end of this trial. Therefore, I ask the defense for any final words or opinions. I have to decide. Do I take the not guilty verdict and save Maya? Do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? What am I supposed to do? Maya would hate me if I got. Request to continue. Phoenix? I can't do it, Mia. I can't accept a not guilty. You are a lawyer. I know. But Matt Ongard is a killer, a murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I am no better than Ongard. Even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact. That is because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. Did I choose the right option that I wanted to continue the trial? I hope so, because it doesn't sound like I chose that option. You could have gotten Ongard convicted so many times over, but you never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust. His trust. I never thought about it until now. I trust him. Yes, you do. Mr. Wright, your opinion, please? The defense requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. DeKiller. Am I hearing you correctly, Mr. Wright? Right? But that witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done. I'm not done yet. To see through witnesses' lies and find the truth. That is my job, Your Honor. There's still more evidence to look at, and I am sure that once those pieces arrive here in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur. Very well, the trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please reestablish connection with Mr. DeKiller. Right away, Your Honor. Has a verdict been reached? Before that, we would like to talk with you a little more. About? All you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for? Well, actually, we would like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are, usually done. What is he talking about? Usually done? But what shall we have him testify about now? Mr. DeKiller, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail. You legal people and your procedures. It is no wonder no one likes to go to court. Okay, about my client. As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime, while pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Adrian Andrews already knew from the beginning that Juan Cordo was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules. This is the most unexpected turn of events for the, 5th time now? However, this time everything has finally been revealed. Just a second, Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? We still have the cross-examination to do. But you don't need to question testimony like this. Do you, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, the defense will question the witness. As if I have a choice here. Huh? Why? What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony, then I'll expose the lies in that oh-so-beneficial testimony, I suppose. I don't understand what's going on anymore. For the 6th time in a row? That makes 2 of us. Shelly's gonna be like super mad at us, but save. Right, as I stated a few times. What is it, Mr. Wright? If I press him the wrong way, it might raise suspicions on his end, but I have to do something to waste more time. Witness, not requesting a hit. Yes? How much is your fee? I see you're also quite a dark-hearted man, Mr. Attorney. Huh? If you would like to talk business, we can do so after the trial. What? No. I'm not thinking of hiring. Mr. Wright? Yes? You want to kill me. You want me dead, don't you? What? Why would you think something like that? You're guilty, Mr. Phoenix, right? Witness, let's continue. Why did you disclose the name of your client? They are your client, are they not? Okay, I was about to say, like, I thought we were going down the line of, could Adrian afford his services? That's what I was thinking. We were going with. I would think that most people wouldn't be able to overlook a person hiring another to kill. If I had a problem with such a thing, I wouldn't be very effective at my job. Ah, yeah. Well, a change in occupation might be good for you. However, I will say this. Even though I am the one that does the deed, my clients are always the real guilty party. That goes without saying, Mr. DeKiller. And their fate is to live with the knowledge of their guilt on their shoulders. However, my client this time thought they could run away from their guilt. Are you talking about the button in the knife? Yes, in my business card. Oh, this card. So that no one has to waste their time, including the police. I always make it a point to make things as easy as possible. Try to make things easy. My business card makes it very easy to identify who carried out this service. Pretty devoted to his work. But to disregard everything, and to go and stab the deceased with a knife, and even hide my card from sight, that is something I cannot overlook. It's really hard to tell if he's being truthful or not without him being here. My thing still is the camera. That trust has been broken. While pretending to be the first to discover the body and enter the scene. So you're saying most clients wouldn't do such a thing? That is correct. Usually, most people try to create an alibi for themselves. You should use my services, Mr. Attorney. I would suggest you plan for your alibi too. No. I already told you. I have no intention of using your services, ever. Why does he keep looking at me like I'm the one on trial here? Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Cordo was dead. From the very beginning? That is correct. From before my client visited the room. All of my clients know precisely what the situation is at all times. I wonder if that's really true. That's odd. Even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. So why do you think your client did that? What do you mean, why? Well, fiddling around at the scene of the crime is pretty risky. And why would someone who has requested a murder go to the crime scene anyway? That is true. I assume it was probably done to frame Mr. On Guard. If that's the case, then why didn't the person just request that you do it? Sadly, that is not possible. Huh? My job is to kill, that is all, and to leave my business card behind, naturally. The business card is so my clients may escape blame. To protect them is my duty. Even if they say it's for revenge, setting someone else up to take your fall? That act is what I referred to when I said my client had broken the rules. And that's all you have to testify? Yes, and I pray that I will never be called to the stand again. Again, as in you plan to continue? I must, as I have yet to find a person to take my place and become the fourth successor. Actually, how would you like a new life, Mr. Attorney? Excuse me? No, I'm fine, really. Are you really now? I wonder what kind of man the judge thinks I am now. What are you going to do now, Phoenix? All I can do now is expose the lies. That's true, however, you realize that would be very bad for a client, right? So confused. Trial hasn't ended yet. Is Mia mad at me? Well, she's dead, so too bad. Maya's still alive and I'm going to do what she wants. I cannot overlook his tampering with the scene of a crime. But even more upon his creation and wedding. Okay, let's... Oops. Okay, at least I can look through the evidence without accidentally presenting. Okay, here we have Nickel Samurai, conference, the Gossip Land article, the map, guitar case, wine, crime photo, so yeah, the knife and button were planted. Ripped from the costume. And the knife. And the card. Set to record the victim's room. Wait. Maybe the thing is that, what I'm supposed to do is say that, so what I'm thinking right now is that, let's see. No. Like, I have to prove that she didn't know. Right? I'm not too sure, actually. And I'll be honest here, I'm also looking at the walkthrough because I'm really confused right now. It says to present the wine glass on the already knew he was dead, which was my thing. We have to prove that she didn't know. But I would not think the wine glass is... I guess, like, after thinking about it, technically she would not have left her fingerprints on the crime scene, then. I still find this presentation very questionable. Thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. DeKiller. What is the meaning of that attitude? When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea that Juan Corda had been murdered. But how? How do you know that? From the wine glass, Your Honor. The glass. Mr. the killer's supposed client thought Mr. Corda had only fainted, which is why the glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim. But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan? That is not possible, Your Honor. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planned, they would never have left their fingerprints behind. I see your point. Mr. Edwards, what is your opinion? Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought just now. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon? Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct? I'm afraid you are mistaken. If Adrian Andrews really is your client, as you claim, then your client should have that knowledge of Mr. Corda's death. If not, then that can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all. How strange. Yes. Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation? Phoenix? If the killer figures out what we're up to, we're in real trouble. Yeah, I know. Mr. Edgeworth, I am surprised. You know you can't say things like that without any evidence. Ah, sorry. Well, that was an awfully weak objection for the two of you. Anyway, I am positive there was a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning when the request was taken. Very well. Right now I have to buy us more time. While we wait for the items the killer left behind to get here, just know the very outcome of this trial lies with those items. This request came to me, about a week ago. It was a request for my services on the night of the awards ceremony. We met us at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few matters. That is what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I made no mistakes. So you physically met your client, huh? That is correct. Meeting one client is the first step to building trust, in my opinion. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Alright. Let's continue. Yeah, here. I was like, where should I save this? Or I've been saving the entire time. 1 week ago? Are you sure? Yes, I'm quite sure. I, of course, had my own preparations, and I was barely able to finish. When you request my services, Mr. Attorney, I hope you will keep that in mind. Please, stop. In any case, my client this time had a very specific date and time in mind. Specific date and time? It was oh, come on. It was requested my services on the night of the awards ceremony. Did you ask why on that specific night? No. I tried to fulfill all the conditions of my client's request. But as for why, I only had my suspicions. Your suspicions, huh? Press further. So what are these suspicions you had? Why did your client request that night? I'm sure it was all for the bear. The bear? Probably the figurine? My client spoke of it. I'm sure there will be a bear-shaped figurine in Juan Corda's room. So what he's doing is saying that Powers saw Adrian take the figurine while in the nickel samurai suit instead of on guard. I believe that's what he's trying to prove. I would like you to retrieve that item for me. You must be talking about this bear puzzle. Inside that figurine was a suicide note. Naturally, the victim brought it with him to his hotel room. He was planning to publicly disclose its contents at the press conference, after all. That is correct. And if I had not done the job that night, I would not have known where that bear figurine was. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? It was very important. Testimony just now has made one thing clear, and that is the client knew the secret of the bear figurine. Huh? Why is everyone so quiet? Mr. Wright, I think all of us already knew that. Really? Witness, please continue with your testimony. At least I didn't get the penalty. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few moments. What bar? So you physically met Adrian Andrews, right? Of course I did. What was that? What was with the brief pause? Witness, I would like for you to give us a few more details. I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I have never taken requests by telephone or mail. And why is that? That's because I value the trust between a client and myself above all else. And the only way to establish that is to speak to the client while looking them in the eye. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? I'm going to keep going with it. It was very important. Of course it was very important, Your Honor. Mr. the killer hadn't met his client before the murder, then it's unlikely he is mistaken. So you're saying that his client really was Adrian Andrews? I guess so. You see, it is just as I said. I'm so lost. Who the heck am I supposed to be helping here? Calm down, Phoenix. Think carefully and relax. Now then, would the witness please continue? That is what occurred. I trust my memory and believe I have made no mistakes. So your client was Adrian Andrews. That is correct. Well, it says the two of them met, but if they did, then there shouldn't be anything wrong with the killer's testimony. Well, there doesn't seem to be anything strange this time around. You have to draw more information out of him, but you can't draw suspicion. If you can do that, you should be able to find a flaw in his testimony somewhere. Talk about a delicate balance. A week ago. Wait. When was this article written? Doesn't say, crap. So I have to record the victim's room. A week ago, it was a request for my services. I met at a certain bar to discuss and finalize a few things. I believe I've made no mistakes. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is I made the wrong choice. That's the only thing I can think of. That I made the wrong choice in that matter. Press further. Like, I need him to keep talking, that was the point. It's not important. Why he meets his clients is not important, and that wasn't the point. Witness, please step aside, stepping my questions. What do you mean by that? My question was, did you really meet Adrian Andrews in person? I've already told you, Mr. Wright, I did. It was only through talking with him face to face that I began to trust him. Him? That's when I thought I can trust this person as a client. It's true what they say about talking face to face. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? It was very important. He said him. What I heard, what I think I heard just now, then I think I've got him. Your Honor, I believe the testimony just now was of the utmost importance. Huh? Really? If that's the case, witness, please include the statement just now in your testimony. Very well. Okay, we added it from the testimony. I saw him. But as we know, that was not how it turned out, correct? What do you mean? Adrian Andrews turned out to be a client who couldn't stick to the rules, right? Well, yes. I suppose you're correct. So I'd like to check one last time. Are you sure your testimony is accurate? Is it the fact that Adrian is a woman? Is that what I need to say? I'm gonna try. This is interesting. I'm an intelligent woman. I would like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at a bar and took the request at that time. Yes, that is correct. And that's when you thought he was trustworthy? How many times must I repeat myself? Yes, that is correct. I'm sorry, but that is an impossible tale. What? Shelley the Killer. You have never met the real Adrian Andrews. Why would you say that? Because you made one very big slip-up. About her. So what is the issue? What did you say just now? About her? If you had ever met Adrian Andrews in person, one look would have told you that she is a woman. It broke. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? This witness testified to the following, that he always meets face to face with his clients when taking their request, but he has never met Adrian Andrews in person. Yes, Your Honor, that is exactly the point. That means Mr. the Killer's client could not have been Miss Adrian Andrews. It's kind of weird seeing an electronic piece of crap sweating. Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake? I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honor. Her name? Yes, Adrian Andrews is without a doubt a very androgynous name. Yes, I see. Unluckily for Mr. the Killer, the entire time he was on the stand, no one has stated Adrian Andrews' gender, and so he simply picked the wrong gender to go with. What? What is going on? For the 7th time, the tables have turned. Shelley the Killer. This court demands an explanation. I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another. So does that mean you remember something different now? Yes, of course. Please, if you would allow me to testify once more. I know he's just going to spit out more lies. Very well, but this time please give us the truth and nothing but the truth. Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail. You just said you never did. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. The request was for the murder of Juan Corda and 2 or 3 other small things. When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man. But you just said you never took, requests by mail. So you took this job through a letter? Didn't mention anything about a letter in his earlier testimony, which means he is definitely lying. Be careful, Phoenix. If you break the assassin's testimony completely, it's over for us. I know it can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing there across from me. No matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it. Now then, let's begin the cross-examination. Also, I don't know why, but that sounded like super lovey-dovey. Like, I know he meant nothing by it, but it sounded super lovey-dovey. Alright, let's continue. I took the request by mail. But didn't you just say that you always meet your clients? Yes, I suppose I did say that. However, there are some clients for whom a meeting is simply not possible. But didn't you meet your client this time? No, I did not. Oh, come now. Let's stop with this game of cat and mouse. Using your silliest voice is not going to work on me. Alright then, just cough it up and confess. Mr. Wright, you can't badger a witness with such harsh words. You're a lawyer, so behave like one and present evidence instead of mindlessly yelling. Now then, do you have any proof that Mr. Keller met with his client? I don't have any proof. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I don't have any proof. Then your line of questioning was just another waste of time. Sadly for us, Your Honor, that is the nature of right and wrong. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. And why would you not meet certain clients? Recently, I have been receiving more requests. If I meet each and every client, I would lose some nice business opportunities. Nice business opportunities. On top of which, the times have changed. It is now the age of information and computers, correct? While I have joined the times, I now take requests via electronic mail. Electronic mail? Do you have to mail that in a special insulated envelope? Oh my gosh. I'm very sorry. I despise the shortening of words. What I meant by electronic mail is what is commonly referred to as email. Email? In a contest of mimicry, the judge would beat a parrot, hands down. Ahem. Anyway, so you took this job without having met your client, and the request was for the murder of Juan Carta and 2 or 3 other small things. What were those things? 2 or 3 other things? Yes. And what were these other things? A few other things that have nothing to do with this case. What should I do? Should I let him slide with that? No. Press him further. Whether or not they're related to this case is for the court to decide. Mr. Attorney? Yes. Everything I've said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client, which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination. Could it be that you are planning to betray your own client? I smell the stench of a backstabber. And should you turn out to be one... wait. Uh-oh, this is looking really bad. I shouldn't have pressed my luck. Let it go. Killer sounds like one sharp man. I should try and find out how to do it. Okay. I saw the name at the end of the letter. I thought my client to be a man. So you're saying that you never saw your client's face, not even once? I did. Once. It was when I went to give my client the figurine. Yes, I see. But Miss Adrian Andrews was wearing a mask at the time. A mask? The Nickel Samurai mask, I'm guessing. Mr. Wright, what do you have to say about this? Do you have any problems with this piece of testimony? You can't see it. Would the contradiction be that there's no way... I want to play that over. We pretty much reached the end of our rope here, huh? Sounds like okay to me, and that's exactly what's so bad. Alright, we're going. We will end up completely destroying the killer's lie. If we do that, I already know how serious of a situation that will put us in. Oh yeah. No, Now let's pray that those items reach us in time. Okay, maybe I should, since we want those 2 or 3 items. I think I need to question them more on these items. I think I just need to keep going. This is probably a bad idea, but... I'm gonna press the look, because I can't. Witness is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what these other jobs your client requested were. If it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. Ooh. The bear figurine. We got that. The bear figurine. After the assassination of the target, it was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just as important as the actual killing. And where was that figurine? It was inside Mr. Corda's suitcase. And then, what did you do next? I handed it over to my client right away. You gave it to your client? Interesting. This information certainly sounds important to me. Witness, please include what you just stated in your testimony. As you wish. Let me push that one. I found this figurine at Mr. Ongard's mansion. If you gave it to Miss Andrews, then what was it doing there? I was waiting for her there. That was also part of the plan to frame Mr. Ongard, I'm sure. That makes a lot of sense. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any problems with this piece of testimony? Probably would have said. I mean, unless it was in this guitar case instead of the suitcase, it's just no use, as long as I can't put my finger on the central problem here. Pressing this witness anymore would be extremely dangerous. It appears that Mr. Wright has no problems. Well then, witness, please continue. I saw the name. Wait. Shouldn't... Wait. I found this figurine at Mr. Ongard's mansion. If you gave it to Miss Andrews, then what was it doing here? Wait, no, you said that you gave it to him and gave it to quote-unquote her in the hall. So the killer says he gave the figurine to Miss Andrews, but I know somewhere in that statement there is a contradiction, and yet, I know that if I present something trivial here, he will cut the connection on his end. If you want to make a strong point, Phoenix, you have to present strong evidence. She's right. So now what, Dr. Wright? Do I have the evidence? Only Andrews knows how to open it. My thing is like the actual testimony itself contradicts. Like they never would have gone to his house. I have something saying that exactly. Yeah, but what is the evidence? I think it has to be the figurine. Right? Yeah, it has to be the fact that he literally gave it to the person in the hallway. Witness, let's go over this one more time. You gave Miss Andrews the bear figurine, and she told you to take the bear and wait for her at On Guard Mansion. Is that correct? Yes. Where are you going with this? Well, I think maybe you might have remembered a few things incorrectly. What? This is a battle of wits. I can't let up on him. I don't think it's possible for Miss Andrews to have been the recipient of this bear. Oops. Shally the killer. If you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been inside of it. This item. I see where you're going. Yep, that's where I'm going. Where is everyone going? Do I need to pack a suitcase? Your Honor, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. And I was going to burn it, for her sake. If even for a single minute, this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burned it. Order, order, order. So that's where you two were going. So by the very fact that this suicide note was still inside the bear, tells us that your client didn't know how to disassemble the puzzle. Which means... It means, Your Honor, that it's impossible for Adrian Andrews to be the client. I'm surprised he's letting us get away with this. He could have killed Maya a while ago. Order, order, order. Mr. Phoenix Wright? I'm sure I mentioned this before, how I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must wish to break your end of our agreement. No, that's enough. If that is your intention, there is only one thing for me to do. Wait, please. Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter that I must attend to. No, please. Not that. Please wait. Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end, and I may stay my hand. Otherwise... What in the... Mr. Wright, are you... Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor? I didn't understand this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there is a need to hear more testimony, or is this enough? Well, we should... Edgeworth, we can't do this. If we keep this up, Maya, she'll... But the prosecution, What has come over everyone? Even you are. The prosecution rests. What is going on around here? Can't we, make it a fake out? The prosecution has no further questions, Your Honor. What? For once, the judge is being smart. Well, I never thought I'd see the day. This is a most unusual situation. If the prosecution rests with no further questions, then the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that is the case, then, even though I am reluctant, I must believe that Mr. the Killer's testimony is accurate. That would mean that Shelley the Killer's client is Adrian Andrews. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? If you end the trial here, right now, then your client, Matt Ongart, would be declared innocent, and in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder. Miss Andrews would be charged with murder. The prosecution has no further questions, so we will now hear the defense's final remarks. Bailiff, please bring the defendant, Matt Ongart, to the stand. The items from the killer's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could, but it looks like our time has run out. I can't believe it. The outcome now lies in your hands. Dude, did the old guy finally decide? To be honest, I can't think of you as a truly innocent and good person. You have done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide. But, at least on the charge of murder, it would appear you are innocent. Ha. Really? You're going to do this out in court? So, I guess even the old fuddy-duddy figured me out. Mr. Ongard? What an atrocious lawyer I have, giving his own client up like this. And that refreshing like a spring breeze crap is just atrocious, don't you agree? Anyway, get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Right, Mr. Lawyer? Should I side with justice, or should I save Maya's life? You better get Ongard a guilty sentence, okay? But if I did that, Maya will die. But if I say he's innocent, then Miss Andrews will be charged as the murderer. Do I say he's guilty or not guilty? Either choice I make, someone's life is going to end. It all hinges on what I choose. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter. If the person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews, then your client, Mr. Matt Ongard, is innocent. There's no need to ask, old man. After all, my lawyer is going to say what I want, aren't you? Right? I can't do this, but I have to decide something. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. My client, Matt Ongard, is... he's guilty. We're waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Matt Ongard, your client deserves an answer. Maya, I'm sorry. Matt Ongard is... Franziska von Karma. I guess she did find, Gunchu, which is lucky for us. You see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off that scruffy fool. Did you bring them? The final pieces? Do you have them? You should know better than to ask that, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Von Karma is perfect in every way. The evidence is here in perfect condition. Don't worry about Scruffy. He's fine, and his injuries are minor. All the items are inside this. What a filthy old colt this is. That's Gumshoes. You can spot his tattered rags anywhere. I apologize for his ugliness, but there was nothing else to wrap the items in. I fought long and hard this whole trial, all for what is inside that raggedy coat. I'm sure that's inside that coat lies a crucial piece of evidence. Your Honor, inside that filthy coat are the defense's final pieces of evidence. Your final evidence? Yep. This trial is already over. All that remains is for me to hand down my verdict. I do not believe that any evidence presented now
would change the outcome of this trial. What? Your Honor, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence, down to the last. I request that Miss Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence. Suppose you are right, Mr. Edgeworth. I grant permission to do so. However, this one obvious rule applies here. If these items do not bring up any new points, then they will not be accepted by this court. Now, Miss Von Karma, if you please. These pieces of evidence are left by the killer during his escape from the police. He must have been in quite a rush. Yes, Your Honor. The killer left 3 pieces of evidence. Somewhere among the evidence we're about to see, there will be something that will turn this whole situation around, like a miracle. I'm sure of it. That is all we can hope for. The first item is a pistol. A pistol wasn't used. Does the killer's pistol have anything to do with this case? Wait, was it shot? Does that pistol have any relation to this case? We have yet to perform a ballistics test, so I can't say anything for certain. However, I believe it has something to do with this case, at least with me. That's the pistol that he used to shoot you, isn't it? That's what I believe, yes. Oh. I kept the bullet they removed from my shoulder as a sort of memento. I'm sure it will be an excellent sample for the test. So that's the pistol that was used to shoot Francisca. It's probably not going to help us very much. The second piece of evidence is this videotape. What does it show? I bet the killer took that from Ongart's mansion. Have you checked the contents of that tape? Unfortunately, there was no time to. Oh yeah? But I would speculate this tape is very important. Why would you say that? Because he came back to his hideout for it. The killer went back for it? That's right. It looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 of the officers at the site. But somehow it looks like they managed to protect it from the killer. Shelley the killer is no ordinary man. Can we watch the tape? Last piece of evidence is this bellboy's uniform. Is that a uniform from the Gateway Hotel? Possibly the one Powers saw. Was that used during the crime? I'm almost certain it was. There's even a pair of black leather gloves in one of the pockets. There's no doubt about it, the killer was wearing this on the night of the murder. There's one thing I found interesting about this uniform. And what is that? There is a button missing on this uniform. A button? It's a very unique button. I'm sure if we were to recover it, it would provide us with an interesting clue. That is all I have to present, Your Honor. It's just as I thought. And what is that, Your Honor? I'm sure were we under normal circumstances, these items from Shelley the killer's hideout would be very important clues. However, no, let's run the tape. Our question is not who did the killing, it is who is the client. Yes, that is correct. And these 3 items do not tell us anything about that. Thank you for your hard work, Miss Von Karma. You may step down now. Wait, Your Honor. Please allow me to examine this new evidence. Overruled. This court already has all the evidence it needs to hand down a verdict. Wonderful. Absolutely splendid. This judge is just a brilliant man, isn't he? Is this the end? Phoenix. I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there? I think you're wrong. I think they do exist. But you have to make that miracle happen. You've come this far. You can't give up now. But no matter how you think about it, it's try. For my sake, just think about it for a second. There are 2 ways out of this situation for us. 2? The first, make Angard wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict. The killer will always place his client's wishes first. Angard himself wishes to be convicted, then he will let his hostage go. That may be true, but that's asking me to do the impossible. The second way? Force the killer to end his contract with On Guard. If the killer were to no longer think of On Guard as his client, then he would let Maya go. Mia, that's even more impossible. It's a man who values his duty towards his clients above all else, except for the fact that Matt already has broken that promise. I know both of these seem like impossible feats at first, but if you can make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle. The bigger problem is, the judge has already said he doesn't need any more evidence. Pieces he was just shown, he's not accepting them. Phoenix? Think things through from the other side. Isn't that what has worked for us? Has always worked for us. The other side? Wait, does she mean... You mean to turn things around? Phoenix, the judge says he doesn't need the evidence. If that's the case, then who does need it? The person who needs the evidence. The defense, prosecution, and the judge. We have seen all the pieces of evidence, and that is how we have come to know the truth. But there is one person who has yet to see them all. Shelley. That person does not know the truth. That truth may be what will bring about the miracle in the end. There are no objections this time, correct? Now then, I will pronounce my verdict. Why don't we all respectfully sit back and listen, kids? Shelley doesn't know the quote-unquote truth. I already told you, Mr. Wright. This court does not need any more evidence. I'm not saying it is us that needs the evidence, Your Honor. Then, you want to show the evidence to that person? Yes, Your Honor. Please, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, for you to ask with such passion, I will grant you one chance. One chance? Please show your evidence to who you think is the right person. I'm also gonna save real quick in case I get this stupidly wrong. I think I need to show the evidence to Shelley. That's impossible. To turn this situation around in one try? One try. That is all I will permit. I have to try to remember everything that has happened up to this point. Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way to save Maya while taking On Guard down at the same time. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's not waste any more time. Who would you like to show the evidence to? I think we need to show Shelley. This is the only thing I can think of. I see. And now, tell this court what one piece of evidence you would like to show this person. The camera is set to record the victim's room from 8 p.m. for an hour. Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't have anything to say to this. How about you, Miss Von Karma? Well, I was just shot, so... I'm afraid I cannot allow the defense to continue. What? No one understands what you are talking about anymore. Wait, please, one more That is enough. Boo. That is all. Court is adjourned. And just like that, the case came to an end. Okay, was I supposed to fail? I ran away from the courtroom and wandered the streets alone. Never saw Maya again. The killer is a man of his word, so I am sure he released her as promised. I heard the verdict of Miss Andrews' trial a few days later. She was found guilty, of course. The miracle never happened. Maybe it was never meant to. Because a miracle is something that doesn't exist. Wait, were we supposed to fail? I don't think we were supposed to fail, right? Okay. Oops. I'm going to the... So apparently there are 2 endings. Let's see. Okay, so there is a good ending. Okay, so I was so close. What you need to do for the good ending, aka the ending we want, is instead of showing that there was a camera filming during the time of the murder, we have to say that there was a tape. I mean, I think I should have been able to get the good ending with knowing that I think my 2 things were equivalent, and I do not like that it didn't. No, show this person. Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? I think there is some merit in showing this evidence to that witness. Bailiff, please bring in the transceiver from earlier. Alright, it looks like I managed to convince him. I still think they were the same thing. I'm upset with that, but oh well. Maya, she's okay, right? Didn't I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial? Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me 1 piece of evidence? Yes, 1 is all I need. I have here a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempt to get this back. That is most regrettable. However, it was an order from my client. I was told to protect that videotape. I thought so. I'm afraid I seem to have failed in that regard. Do you know the contents of this tape? I was sternly told by my client to not watch it, so I have absolutely no idea. Actually, you are on this tape. Me. There was a video camera hidden at the crime scene. See, I should have been allowed to do that. But apparently only the videotape would have worked. Your actions were being recorded. What? Is that true, Mr. Wright? Who was it that planted a camera? Well, the only person who could have placed a camera at the scene of the crime would be your client, naturally. That was Adrian Andrews. Be quiet and listen, Your Honor. Yes, sir. Your client specified a place and time for you. Isn't that right? Yes? That was so they could film you. I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I would like to know why. Blackmail. He already told us. There's only one reason why your client would secretly film the crime scene. They wanted to blackmail you. Your client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you, and this is what they said. But I'm no weakling. I don't believe anyone, least of all assassins. Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. Yes, that's where the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay and even blackmail him if I want. Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say to that, Shelley D. Killer? It looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning. Yes, by a natural. That is the kind of person they are. Your client is a person who only thinks and plots of how to use people around them to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client. I have one question for the witness. Yes? You told us one thing numerous times during your testimony. You said that you detest traitors most of all. Yes, that's right. But what if the traitor was your own client? What would you do then? That's obvious. I would break your contract in that case. And then, that client would become my next target. For the honor of the killer name, even if it takes an eternity, I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment. I see. That's all I wanted to know. So the traitor becomes the killer's next target? Ah, I get it. This is how we'll turn this case around. Mr. Wright? Yes? My contract with my client is over as of now. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious item. What the? I'm not an item. Maya, I thought I'd never see you again. Oh, thank goodness. This trial appears to have come to its conclusion. However, I don't quite know what just happened there with the client and the witness and Miss Von Karma. Where did that? She always has you in her sights. Now, I do believe it's time to finally hand down a verdict. He's sweating. Mr. On Guard, looks like somehow you got what you wanted. You will finally receive the acquittal you wanted so badly. You should be happy. But before that, I would like to make one final statement. Sometime in the near future, one very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Needless to say, that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you will understand what I mean if you watch this video. Help me. Now then, Your Honor, the verdict, if you please. Is this alright with you, Mr. Wright? We have finally reached the end of a very long battle. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there is no escape for him now. Go on, Phoenix. Do whichever way your heart tells you. Right, Chief. Guilty. Matthew On Guard. Even though I'm a lawyer, I cannot make your crime disappear. I think a guilty verdict is appropriate here. Me? My wonderful self? Guilty? Even if you got an acquittal, the instant you set foot outside the detention center, your life would be in danger, no matter which way you look at it. You can't run away from your crime anymore. Ooh. Ooh, that was quite graphic. I wasn't expecting that. As always, it looks like we have uncovered the real truth. I don't remember you helping out much in this. Mr. Edgeworth, how is Matt on guard? I have left Miss Von Karma in charge of his incarceration. I'm sure he's getting a full course meal of whip leather right about now. The only time I've been happy about Fran and her whip. Very good. That was a close one, wasn't it, witness? Yes. I plan to pay my debt to society for my own crime, Your Honor. The first time I was called to the witness stand during this trial, all I felt was despair. She must be talking about the time Edgeworth really went after her. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. But after that, when I was alone at the detention center, that was the first time I really saw myself for who I am. And today, when the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt, I felt like I had finally been saved. Aww. Wow, this is the first time I've ever seen her smile. I'm really happy that you two were in charge of this case. I really don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This is the first time I felt comfortable with myself, with who I am. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm a bit confused as to why she feels that way, but okay.
It looks like we have resolved everything at last. As for myself,
there are still a few things I'm confused about. Everyone seems to be in good spirits, and that is good enough for me. That is all. This court is adjourned. You were great out there, Phoenix. What I did out there was right, wasn't it? This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. You've got them a guilty verdict this time, but you have to look past all of that to what's really important. You now realize that there is something more than just getting a not guilty, right? Yes, I understand now. It's about the truth. Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moments before Ms. Von Karma arrived with the final pieces of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defense's final statements on this matter. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. Should I side with justice, or should I save Maya's life? My client, Matt Ongard, is... Is he guilty, or is he not guilty? Those were your choices then. And your answer? Your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. Right? Edgeworth? I have good news. Maya is now safe in police custody. Really? Pearls, you're telling us the truth, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, she's quite safe. She's on her way here as we speak in a patrol car. Ah, Mystic Maya's safe. You did it. You really did it, Mr. Nick. Wow, she punches deceptively hard for a kid. I believed in you. I kept saying to myself, Mr. Nick will save her. Mr. Nick will save her. Aww. Thanks. Oh. What's wrong? Miss Von Karma. About earlier. Thanks. Ow. Why are you still smiling? Mr. Phoenix Wright? You lost. Your perfect win record has now been crushed. And yet, you are still happy? I don't think you'll ever understand, Miss Von Karma. How dare you? Don't worry. She may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago. Edgeworth? For my own personal victories and for guilty verdicts. I used every dirty trick in the book, and so my win record remained spotless. But a man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me. I fought him in my usual manner and tasted my first defeat. I felt like I had lost everything because of that. And then it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. And I was saved by that person I called my enemy. I couldn't forgive myself for all that had happened. So I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. As well you should have. Prosecutor who has shamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die. But that was not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realize something. And it was that moment of clarity that everything began to change. What foolish nonsense. We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendant, but every time we did so, no matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then, before I knew it, began to trust in that man as well. What? You trusted your enemy? It doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses, the truth will always find a way to make itself known. The only thing we can do is fight with the knowledge we hold in everything we have, bracing the paradoxes one by one. It's never easy, we claw and scratch for every inch, but we will always eventually reach that one single truth. This I promise you. The truth? Yes, that's the reason why prosecutors and defense attorneys exist. But I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, right? That's why you couldn't forgive me. This man who went into hiding. Isn't that right? This man who only had his sights set on victory, who ran away into the night. Is Mr. Edgeworth right, Mr. Nick? You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with was because I believed in the things you said to me all those years ago. And you betrayed your own words. That's why, 1 year ago, I made up my mind. I decided that the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. At least, that's what I told myself. You pathetic fool. Miss Von Karma? I don't want to hear the wretched whimpering of a disgraced loser. A Von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you are no longer worthy. You are no longer worthy of being a Von Karma, and neither am I. It's over. It's all over. I think she finally got it, kind of. Not sure she totally got it, but I think she's on the way there. Francisca threw something on the ground just now. This is an electromagnetic receiver. Isn't that the thing she used to track Detective Gumshoe? I'll return this to the precinct later. There's something else. Isn't that Miss Von Karma's whip? I'll never set foot in another courtroom again. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. You should keep this, right? Okay. Nick! Is it Maya? Awesome! Maya! And are we going to have like a cute hug sing-along moment? Mystic Maya. Oh, that's so cute. Why is she squeezing Phoenix's, like, peck like that? Oh, Nick, I knew you would come through. You got on guards, convicted, like I knew you would. And on top of that, you even rescued me. Well, of course I did. You know I would never desert you. But we sure pressed our luck this trial. Really lucky to be standing here. Whatever. Look, it's over, okay? Besides, if I did croak, I would just come back and haunt you like a bad ghost through Pearly. I'd believe it. Is it really that easy to do something like that? Thanks a lot, Nick. Don't mention it. Maya? Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm relieved you're alright. Hey, looks like you've made some real progress, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, I suppose I'm a little different from who I was a year ago. Oh, she's still hungry. Alright. I think it's time we got out of this depressing place. Huh? Where are we going? To get burgers. Food, Nick. Food. Grub. Chow. I'm starved. So hungry even you look like a nice juicy burger on a bun to me, Nick. You think I look like a burger? I'm a prime rib at least. Come with us, Mr. Edgeworth, please. If you insist, can you buy? Alright, so how about we hit up our usual burger joint? Don't be silly, Nick. Huh? This case messed up that awesome evening and got in the way of my gourmet food, so I decided that we're having to make it up by having another feast. Another feast? Come on, Nick. Food. But is Edgeworth buying? Hey pal, sorry to keep you guys waiting. Gumshoe, are you alright? Yeah, but I'm really embarrassed. I didn't think I would hit a telephone pole, of all things. I thought he hit a car, not a stationary telephone pole. A telephone pole? Then it wasn't a red light that got him? You did it again, city boy. I felt like my dear old heart was going to give out on me, and I ain't joking. Yeah, it was more exciting than the very last episode of the Steel Samurai. Thanks. Oh, looky here, Mr. Snooty Prosecutor. Don't you reckon you bullied Mr. Wright too hard? If you don't start being a lot nicer to him, he might just kick it. Tonight, even. I'll keep that in mind. Well, come on now. Everyone gather around. Y'all are gonna get your picture taken by a genuine professional photographer. Looks like Lotta bought herself a new camera. Well, pal, at least we can put this messy case behind us now. Come on, tonight's all about eating, so let's go chow down, pal. Amen to that, pal. Amen. You know, when you think about it, you were the one who saved the day, Detective. Huh? Me? Really think so? He's right. If it wasn't for the 3 items she took, I think this trial would have been had a very different ending. Well, you know, it's ho-ho. Huh? Wait. That's odd. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. What? 4? Yeah, I'm sure I put one of the items in my coat pocket. There was a 4th item? Aw, come on y'all, it's over. But ooh boy, I tell ya, you really are something else. Between getting accused of murder and getting kidnapped, never a dull moment with you, huh? Haha, you think? Why does she look so happy about that? But being shut away for 2 whole days, weren't you scared? Yeah, it was really scary. I felt so hopeless. So to keep my mind off things, I drew a picture. Sounds like you had it rough, gal. So where's this picture of yours? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see Miss Maya's picture. You know, I don't know where it went. Aw, that's too bad. Well, it's alright. It wasn't anything important anyway. It sure is nice to finally see them both smiling again. Who's calling? What is it, Edgeworth? This thing is picking up something up. That's Miss Von Karma's receiver. Thanks to her, I had the most awful experience of my life, sir. Can't believe she stuck a tracking device on me. That's odd. Even though you're standing right here, the tracking device seems to be in a different location. Oh, it's probably busted or something, sir. Probably in his coat. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm afraid it's about time for me to excuse myself. I still have some work to do. Huh? But Mr. Edgeworth, you haven't eaten anything yet. You haven't eaten, and you've eaten way too much, you glutton. I had fun tonight. Now, if you'll excuse me. Wait. What? I just want to say, thanks, Edgeworth. You really saved me out there. If anyone should be saying thanks, it should be me, right? I feel like words alone are enough here. I wonder if there's anything I can give him to express how I feel. give him?
Can I give... my badge is the only thing I can think of.
What's this? It's my way of saying thanks. I see. Well, it's the thought that counts. Guess I'm not very good at this showing my appreciation thing. You don't need to thank me. I was only doing my job. It looks like Mr. Edgeworth has left, Mr. Nick. Hey, Mystic Maya. Yes, Pearly? I guess you two can go back to being lovey-dovey, right? You and Mr. Nick, I mean. Pearly, won't you cut it out already? You're embarrassing me. Anyway, so who's paying for this lovely dinner party?
I thought Edgeworth falls flat again. How does she need to ask?
Everyone say thank you to Nick. Huh? Yeah, I'm kinda at the point where I can't even buy instant noodles, pal. So I kinda already put your name on the bill. Huh? Yeah, I got me a situation just like that myself. There's this camera shop in this hotel, see? And I just bought myself this good old beauty here. It better be anyhow for 3,000. Huh? Actually, I reckon you bought it for me since it's on your tab and all. What is going on? Isn't this great, Mr. Nick? No, not at all. Yeah, Nick. Why do I suddenly feel like screaming? Aw, you don't need to hold back now, you hear? Yeah, pal, time to let it all out. This is going to be the first time I hear the real you. Go on, it's been a while since I heard you say it. I've been busy being a hostage and all. Alright then, if you say so.
Yeah, that was real cute.
Okay, so we got the good ending. I still think that it should have worked, but oh well. You really came through for me, Nick. I had to hide that letter, but I knew you'd find it. I really feel like I've been living on the edge lately. I mean, escaped death 3 times now. Pretty cool, huh? Feel like a pro. I'm so happy for the two of you. Speaking of which, I think this hotel is a popular place for honeymooners, so I sort of made reservations for the two of you, just in case.
Pearl always has her mind in the gutter.
Well, pal, it looks like I'm back on the force again. Mr. Edward had a long talk with the chief, and he got me reinstated for my sake. I heard he said things like letting that one go is bad for all of society. I knew it. Crashing headlong into everything is the only way to live, pal.
Okay, so, I actually really enjoyed this game. Oh, tutorial. Lady back.
I, Maggie Bird, am retiring this uniform as of today, sir. I'm going to be a waitress from now on. And bring smiles and joys to people who come by the restaurant, sir. I hope you'll stop by sometime, Mr. Wright. That's interesting.
But yeah, I overall really did like this game. My one point of contention would probably be the circus part. Yes, are you here to visit a patient? I'm Director Hody. Recently? Yes, that girl, you know. I haven't seen her around. Yes. But I remember, if I even laid so much of an eye on her, it would go crack. Didn't matter if I got whipped, though. Yes. But yeah, the circus was really weird, and it was like the only thing that it connected with anything was the fact that Maya could see the tent. It's time to begin our quest of world domination, and to let the world know it's serious, I plan to make a fabulous fight in Zimbabwe. Hey Max, what do you think of Zimbabwe is like? Do you think there are castles made of cake and bunnies who can talk?
I think if there are any talking bunnies, even they won't laugh at most jokes. Yeah, because like one of the things I really like about this series is that all the cases are connected somehow. But the circus one was just real stupid. I'm ready. There's no way these shows are gonna fall on deaf ears. I'm going to be more contemporary with my humor. Mo curls. Represent. We've got our new act all worked out. Prepare for the Hallelujah chorus. Say something, will you? You're supposed to start this off. Get on with it. But yeah, the only connection I had was Maya seeing it, but I'm also really interested in Morgan Fay, Maya's aunt. What's the strat? It's just an ordinary electric razor recharging on its stand. Can't believe this, really. How long do they plan on making me do this? But it's Edgy Poo's idea, so that means it must have deep hidden meaning. But why do I get the feeling they wouldn't forget about me, would they? It was never like this in the old days. Everyone thought the world of me. They used to call me Queen Wendy and treat me like royalty, and just couldn't feel the pain of my heel, and yes, and burn playing with fire, very dangerous, where they started the scenery. I always have to take a big breath. But yeah, the only one thing that's leaving me questioning things is the second case with Morgan Fay. Because I feel like hasn't concluded. I appreciate everything you and Mr. Edward did for me. Oh, that's right. I received a letter from Miss Von Karma. She said after I got out, I should feel free to contact her about anything. I'm really thankful to have met everyone. But yeah, that case, it felt incomplete. And then it's just like, especially with the circus case happening right after, it has become difficult for me in this country as of late. As such, I will take a short leave of absence. If you would like to request my services, please be sure to visit my homepage. May we both be blessed with longevity. That's ironic for an assassin to say that. But yeah, with the circus case happening directly after, it felt like that entire plotline had gone unfinished. And I'm really hoping that they do some more with it, because I find like the entire Fae aspect of these stories very interesting. Where are you going, Francisca? How did you know I was here? With this. I heard you were planting things on a certain person. Things like tracking devices in his coat, for example. That's just like you. I only planted it there because he was always wearing it. This filthy drab coat of his. I don't know how it ended up in my luggage, but it's going in the trash, I promise you that. Oh, that's right. Speaking of that man, he told me something very interesting. When I ran off with the things from the killer's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. 4 things? It seems he put the last one in his coat pocket. He put it in here. It doesn't matter anymore. This case is already over. Okay, that's super suspicious. What are you going to do now? That's none of your business. Are you running away? Shut up. You don't understand a thing. You can't possibly understand what it means to be Manfred von Karma's daughter. Francisca. So many expectations from everyone around me. Expectations I must fulfill. I'm expected to win no matter what. And failure? Such a thing is not an option for me. My father was a genius. There's no doubt about that. But me? I am no genius. I've always known that. But I had to be one. I had to. You may not be a genius like your father, but you are a prosecutor. You have been and always will be. No, I'm not. Not anymore. I've even thrown my whip away. Right. You were supposed to give me that whip. You haven't changed a bit. You've always left me alone and walked on ahead without me. Miles Edgeworth, I've always hated you. And then, finally my chance to take my revenge when you arrived. If I could win against that man, if I could make Phoenix Wright bow down in defeat, then this girl you left behind would have risen higher than you. That was supposed to be my revenge. Okay, this makes a lot more sense than what I was thinking earlier. I see. You know, I can't do it. I can't change who I am. Can't throw away everything I've been until today. I believe you can. Just like how Adrian Andrews did. Adrian Andrews? You were going to use her during the trial, right? But you were dependent on your father by using his tactics. Isn't that right? Today, you chased after me, after I had left you behind all these years. And that's why we're standing here now, side by side. But I have no intention of stopping. If you say you are going to quit your walk down the prosecutor's path, then this is where we part ways, Franziska von Karma. As long as she continues without whipping someone. I'm Franziska von Karma. Don't think I'm going to walk in your shadow forever. Our battle begins now. You had better prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth. Aw, so cute. But yeah, I'm kind of happy I didn't give Miles her whip, because she needs to learn how to not whip people. Phoenix Wright. One day, someday, I'm sure we'll meet again in battle. Until then, this last piece of evidence that never made it to you, I'll take good care of this fourth piece, so I can give it to you when at last we meet again. I wonder if it's like the real note, possibly. Oh, that's cute. Okay, yeah, that's really cute. I wonder who drew it. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Again, as I was saying at the end, I really want to know what's happening with the phase. I just feel like that is so incomplete. And then in the next game, I really hope they keep the Magatama game device, because I found that really interesting. Trying to use evidence to get people to tell you the truth, because in the first game you just assumed like all your witnesses were telling you the truth, or at least their version of the truth. But this was interesting, having people purposely hide things from you. I really enjoyed that aspect, and I hope it continues on. I'm happy they got rid of the video aspect that was in like the last case of the previous game. That was just really annoying. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game, and I am looking forward to playing the next one, which will probably be next time you hear from me. And I will see you guys later. Bye!